was like, "Damn, my first Olympics was I knew I wasn't good enough to medal, but I was good enough to make the final."
Right.
And when I didn't make the final, I was, like, shocked, and I was kinda shaken to a ways, like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And it was really this sense of, like, when you're in qualifications, like, you're in this stadium, there's no one there. There's, like, 32 people, so there's 16 people on each pit, and it takes, like, 4 to 5 hours. Like, it was just something I was not prepped for.
Right.
I really felt again, I knew I wasn't good enough to medal, but I knew that, like, my best jump would get me in the final, and I really felt like I was in great shape because I had just broken the Canadian record 3 weeks before.
Right.
And so anyways, it was a really, like it was a cool and a bittersweet moment. I remember getting off the mat, not realizing I had to go through a mix zone, and that, like, when you're, like, feeling like dog ass, like, you don't wanna talk to anyone, and they're forcing you, they're like, "You remember that contract you signed with the COC?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You have to go through the mix zone." And I'm like, "They don't wanna talk to me." And they're like, "No,
They do.
you have to talk to every athlete." And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to pretend like I care, and all I wanna do is, like, kind of, like, dig myself a hole and, like, sit in the hole, and I'll never forget my my AP, the coach that always looks after certain athletes. um, I ended up hiding out in my parents' their, like, flat that they were in, and I just fell asleep for, like, 48 hours there. I just, like, kept I'd get up, I'd eat, I'd go back to bed, and my siblings and my sister and them were all out sightseeing Rio de Janeiro. They were having the best time ever, and I was just in this
Couldn't do
little
it.
couldn't do it. I didn't wanna see anyone. I was just so embarrassed to show my face because the hype leading into it was like, "Oh, Alysha Newman just, like, broke a Canadian record. She's gonna do good, da 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 da." So you're like, "Yeah, like, I got this." And then it just ended, and I think that that's where I took the Olympics for granted, my first one, and I just thought I was gonna be prepped. And so for my second Olympics, it felt like the same. I was 3rd in the world going in. I was like, "I'm prepped. I'm ready to go. I'm jumping better than I've ever jumped. I'm in the best shape I've ever been." So what happened is that year, 2020, 2019, I was 3rd in the world and broke a Canadian record, jumped 482, and ready to go into the Olympics and win my medal.
Until
COVID got postponed. I was like, "Okay, this my shit out of luck, like, this is what it is." So I held it, I held it. We trained as much as we possible. I wasn't in the best shape, but I was still in great shape going into 2021, and then I fell on my face, hit my head, and got a severe concussion in April of 2021, and had to go to the Olympics still.
yeah.
It was good for my Nike contract, so I had to show up on there, but I know I was not mentally well, like, at all.
Yeah.
And I ran down the runway 3 times, and I didn't even jump. I just put my pole on the mat 3 times, like, "Alysha, you're at an Olympic Games, what are you doing?" You know? And that was, like I thought that I was embarrassed in Rio. Oh my gosh, Tokyo, I didn't know I could go even lower. It was like someone was already building a grave for me, and I was gonna just, like, sit in that and lay in that forever. Like, I wanted to show nothing. I remember my physio came and met me halfway through the media, and I just laid on the ground, and she just held me, Andrea, and she was just like, "Alysha, this is not who like, your identity. This is not who you are, like, this just happened, like, it was out of your control of, stepping in a bathtub in Des Moines, Iowa, and went face first into the faucet, taking a shower
Ugh.
after training, and we just didn't have the resources in Canada to get me back and ready to go for Tokyo that summer. And I remember, like, my mom picking me up because they couldn't come because it was also a COVID Olympics. So going from an Olympics that hardly had any fans, then COVID Olympics was no fans, and then all of a sudden I'm in Paris, and there's 85,000 people. Your girl was out there vibing. Like,
And
I
redemption.
was having a party, Like, I was like, "Yes, like, we're all out here, we're enjoying it." And even before that Olympics, 3 months in March, I tore everything in my left ankle. They said, "There's no way I'll make it down the runway in Tokyo or in Paris 2024." And I said, "Watch me. You best believe that I'm not doing this again."
Yeah.
And I came out with a bronze, and I think that if I kept the same people in my circle that year, I wouldn't have medaled, and I made a really drastic decision. I isolated myself from a lot of people in 2024 and
Right.
my team. Like, I created this little safe bubble, and we were stuck in this, like, little bubble that I wouldn't let anyone in or out, and it worked out. It maybe wasn't healthy, but it was what
You
we
got your
needed to
medal.
do. It was what we needed to do for that point in time, and LA will be different. It's gonna be the same version of me, but I think it's gonna just be a lot more wise and a lot more grounded because now I can, like, kind of rest my soul a little, being like, I put myself out in this world to be an Olympic medalist, and I have it, and now I wanna capitalize on it, and that's kind of where I'm going at for LA 2028.